Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. I went and took a short little nap and woke up, and what do you know, Kevin McCarthy has been voted out as Speaker of the House. This one from the Daily Mail, let's check it out. Kevin McCarthy voted out as Speaker. Republican becomes first House leader in American history to have his gavel taken away following stunning rebellion from critics led by Matt Gaetz. Well, this is fantastic. I wasn't a big fan of McCarthy getting the speakership in the first place. I loved when Matt Gaetz and company went against the establishment and didn't just vote for McCarthy because that was the thing to do, because it was his turn. You know, nobody gets turns in politics. You got to earn it and you got to deserve it, right? And in doing that, it allowed those Republicans, the MAGA Republicans or whatever, it gave them a little bit of leverage. Now here we are. Kevin McCarthy has been sensationally ousted as Speaker of the House in a historic vote sparked by a tumultuous civil war in the Republican Party. Tim Pool's ears pop up, civil war, right? A motion to vacate the Speaker's chair was adopted 216 to 210, with 8 Republicans joining Democrats to boot the House leader. McCarthy became the first Speaker in the 234-year history of the United States Congress to be kicked out and have his gavel taken away by fellow lawmakers. It kind of sucks that it is McCarthy rather than being like Pelosi, who is so much worse. You know what I mean? But this is the difference between deep state, lifelong Democrats and Republicans alike that go with the status quo, right? This new wave of young Republican GOP leaders is it. And they're going to have to be the ones to break the norms, right? And I love it. I'm here for every bit of it. McCarthy Rep. Patrick Mahenry, chair of the Financial Services Committee, has been named as the interim speaker. Now the GOP will launch a marathon bid to pick a successor while in turmoil. And I love it that they're doing this all while, the government is being threatened to be shutting down because of funding and whatnot. Even though they did extend it on to November, we're already killing days of October, so it's not too far away. The House is now in recess while Republicans decide on their next move to elect a leader. The humiliating end for McCarthy 58 sent shockwaves across Capitol Hill and secured his title as the shortest-serving speaker since 1875, following a roller coaster tenure of 9 months. Well, you know what that means? That means he had 9 months to actually speak for the people instead of the folks that, lobby him. He had 9 months to make things right and reverse the process that the previous Speaker of the House, that was led by a Democrat majority, that they started, all their nonsense, all their attacks against their political opponents. McCarthy had done nothing. He launched an impeachment inquiry that has taken weeks now, where when the Democrats launched an impeachment inquiry into Trump, it was over the second they said inquiry. They moved on to impeachment that fast. So McCarthy was nothing but, a rhino, a Republican in name only. He was there just to serve the Democrats, to maybe slow them down just a teeny little bit. But honestly, he wasn't doing anything for the party, and he wasn't doing anything that he should have as far as making things right that the Democrats started. He came after a rebellion led by his nemesis, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, and a small group of hardline Republicans who viewed McCarthy as a weak conservative. He's very weak. McCarthy is seen shaking hands and hugging his supporters on the House floor after the stinging loss. His name could be put up for Speaker again in subsequent battles. But I just also saw in a different article, I didn't pull it up, but I believe he's not going to rerun for Speaker. He's bowing out of that particular contest. And he should, because we need somebody better, and he needs to just move along, right? Republican Nancy Mace of South Carolina stunned her colleagues by voting to boot McCarthy from leadership. The freewheeling congresswoman said her vote was about trust. It's not ideological. It's about having a leader in our nation who will tell the truth, who you can trust, she told DailyMail.com. I'm looking for a speaker who will tell the truth. Okay, I agree with that. Let's go. But in January, she tweeted that Gaetz is a fraud for his McCarthy opposition. Well, you know what? Maybe since January, she's learned a thing or two. I presume. The GOP leader's tenure came crashing down 9 months after he was elected in an unprecedented 15 rounds of votes. Republicans were left reeling as they try to stave off a potential government shutdown next month. McCarthy's supporters called him a happy warrior with true grit. Chaos is someone who we cannot trust with their word. I don't think voting against Kevin McCarthy is chaos. I think $33 trillion in debt is chaos. I think that facing a $2.2 trillion annual deficit is chaos. And I'll add, continually just handing money to the tune of billions of dollars to Ukraine is also chaos. That's actually insane. That's freaking out of control. And that alone is enough for me to want to get McCarthy out of there, right? He's prioritizing Ukraine over American citizens and his voters as far as I'm concerned. He added, let's get on with it. Let's vacate the chair. Let's get a better speaker. McCarthy's supporters booed and jeered at Gaetz as he tore into the speaker ahead of the vote that officially removed him. Republicans controlled the chamber by a narrow 221 to 212 majority, meaning it took only a handful of defections to remove McCarthy. The anti-McCarthy Republicans have not coalesced around one alternative they'd like to put up for Speaker. Gaetz has noted that the Speaker does not have to be a member of the House. The Florida Republican said he absolutely does not want the top job and floated a number of names, including members of McCarthy's own leadership team like Steve Scalise and Tom Emmer. He might call up for New York GOP Rep. Lee Zeldin. I've also seen it on Twitter, X, whatever, be floated, suggested that old Donald Trump get nominated for the position. So, fingers crossed, right? I'd just love to see that. That'd be hilarious. Tim Burchett told reporters there are plenty of people who could do the job better than McCarthy. Gaetz said Monday night he'd like to see the majority leader Steve Scalise, who is battling blood cancer, in the role, but seemed open to other options. Burchett also said he wanted a speaker who didn't want the job so badly. I agree with that. When people want something really bad like that, when they feel like it's their turn or whatever, and they just want it so badly, I feel like there's a little bit of corruption there, you know what I mean? The person that doesn't want the job is always the one that's best for it, and I'm not suggesting that Matt Gaetz would be good for this job. It might be somebody that doesn't necessarily want it that's the best person to fill that role. He said last week that he had a conversation with McCarthy. The last thing he said was, I really want to be speaker, and I think that sums up the whole thing. It's not about one person. Another reason not to like McCarthy, right? But McCarthy's allies could continue to put him up for speaker again. I think Kevin McCarthy should take a hint. After 15 ballots to become speaker, after 8 months of failed speakership, and after removal in this historic manner, Gaetz said on that prospect. And like I said, I don't believe he's actually going to go for the position again. Former President Trump seemed to disapprove of the drama playing out in Congress's lower chamber. Well, it is what it is, dude. Why is it that Republicans are always fighting amongst themselves? Why is it that Republicans are always fighting amongst themselves? Why aren't they fighting the radical left Democrats who are destroying the country? Well, I can tell you why. It's because there's radical conservatives, there's radical Republicans that are just as bad as those radical Democrats. Let's go over here and check out a couple of these tweets. Cat Turd. I don't care what anyone says. We fought for 10 years and not one establishment lying uniparty fraud has ever been held accountable until today. Listen, you can't shake things up until you shake things up. I'm so disappointed in Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert for this vote today. They've been preaching against the swamp for years, and they finally had a chance to actually get rid of one of Washington, D.C.'s biggest swamp creatures, and they folded like cheap tents. Hopefully the Uniparty will think twice in the future about lying to we the people. 100% agree with that. This person, Trump is not my president, said, it's not just Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren. Don't forget Jim Jordan, Byron Donalds, Anna Paulina, etc. Most of them are huge disappointments. Full disclosure, I don't actually know who voted what individuals voted what, so I'm just kind of taking their word for it here on this. But yeah, I'm just telling you what they tweeted, right? This is what Gaetz had to say about that. Some of my wonderful conservative friends won't be voting to vacate McCarthy. They worry it might disrupt legislative business. I would remind them that the full scope of legislative work on the floor yesterday was renaming 2 post offices. They need to do better than that. Renaming 2 post offices is not something that we care about, So, and then we got this final tweet that I thought was hilarious. This is from the Hodge twins. Rhinos are big mad over McCarthy.
Subject to the call of the chair. Chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Oh man, either that guy's never swung a hammer in his life, which probably is the case, doesn't have a bone in his body to actually relate to the working man that he's supposed to represent, and he swung that hammer like he was trying to break it. I don't know, I'm just joking. Anyways, guys, just wanted to let you know, McCarthy is out as Speaker. Who would you like to see as his replacement? Let me know. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.